Hey everybody, I'm here with Daphne Vagenas, Director of College Counseling, and we're going to talk a little bit about how the college search process is going this year. So welcome. How's it looking this year?
It's looking great. This is that time of year once we've hit Thanksgiving, where I think we are able to take a tiny breath. I would say the vast majority of seniors have probably finished submitting all of their applications. I checked the numbers this morning. Around 200 of our students have submitted 1,350 applications to over 200 colleges.
That's
as
awesome.
of today.
That's awesome. So I can't do the math very quickly in my head. How does this compare to other years? Are we tracking the same? I know that when we've talked about this before, when we were applying to schools way back in the 1900s, that we applied to far fewer, and now
Correct.
students are applying to a lot. So are we seeing the same trend?
Yes. I'm glad to say that I think we at Bowles have managed to keep our numbers a bit lower than probably the national trend. I think a lot of that has to do with our personal attention and the fact that as counselors we can sit with each student and talk through their own college list and determine which schools would be best fits for them. But certainly post-pandemic, those numbers of overall applications have risen.
Right, right. And I've also noticed, are we seeing more schools go to rolling admission? It feels like it.
I don't know that that's the case. I think more schools certainly are offering earlier options for
Okay.
students to apply. And one thing that I've definitely seen as a pretty drastic difference in my 24 years at Bowles is that more students are applying to schools earlier in the process, not necessarily committing themselves to those schools, but working on their applications, submitting them earlier. In most cases, that's going to be to the student's benefit to put their application in earlier in the process.
Well, I've long said when families ask, what is an advantage of going to Bowles, that one of the many that we have, but a very major one, is the college counseling process and that personalized attention that you do, you're able to give each of the students. So now that we've seen the seniors, you mentioned they were really starting to wrap up their process. What does it look like for your office?
Sure. We're still busy.
Always.
So we're not really done with the seniors, so they may have gotten through the application process, or some of them will still submit applications through the end of the semester and a little bit into the beginning of next. But then they're working on scholarship applications,
that's
they're
true.
receiving their decisions, we're counseling them through those. Obviously, the admits are exciting and a cause for great celebration, but some students will get news that they weren't expecting or that's disappointing, and we want to be there to support them and help them make their final choice of college. So we will work with them throughout the rest of the school year. But one of the things that's kind of fun for us is that we are now starting our individual meetings with our junior students. So it's a little bit of sort of a mental exercise. I think, at least I'll speak for myself, in that I have to remind myself, oh, this is a senior. I'm talking to them, about this part of the process. Now I'm with a junior. They're sort of just starting the actual process. And it's great because they're just so bright-eyed and excited about it. And a little bit of anxiety in there. But that's to be expected, and that's normal.
Right,
So.
right. Well, I've long said that one of the real benefits of sending your kid to a place like Bowles, among many, is the college counseling process and the personalized attention that you give and the advice. What advice would you give to parents, not necessarily parents of upperclassmen, but to parents of maybe our middle schoolers or our underclassmen?
Sure. I think let your student sort of guide the process of moving through middle school and into high school and going through that college process. I mean, you're there to provide wonderful guidance and support, but it's this little bit of breakaway where we're trying to encourage students to find their own independence and pursue some of their passions. Sure. And I know that that's incredibly hard to do, incredibly easy for me to say it. But I think the students that seem to navigate their high school careers and the college search process in the most, I guess, healthy way, yeah, are those students that take ownership of it.
That's true. That's a good reminder. As the parent of a current senior, it's difficult to do, but I still remember the day when you told me, Tyler, it's not your opportunity to go back to school. And you're exactly right. And watching our students in various ages go through that process can be challenging as a parent, but we always have to. You're a big proponent of this. You got to look. It's the long-term goal of what you want, not this short-term. Whether it's a sticker on the back of a car, or you feel good, or you want your son or daughter to have easy success or just all success. That's not life. And so that long-term goal of going through and working through a process and really giving some thoughts. I like that we spend a lot of time with our students of helping them think through, where is the best location for them? Where are they going to be able to thrive?
Right. And that may not be where they thought it was going to be at the beginning of the process for students and for parents. But our ultimate goal is when we get to the end of senior year and the students have their plan in place, that they are excited about it, that they feel like that's a great next step on their journey. Yeah,
that's what it's all about. It's a journey, right? Mm-hmm. And you guys get to be the tour guides as
you're
going through and helping them through these years. But it's also really important to remember Daphne and her team, who are remarkable, are also there to answer questions for any of our parents. And so if you are a parent, even of a lower school kid, and you've got questions about this process, don't hesitate to reach out. We're not going to assign your child a college counselor in third grade. We're just not. We're hard and fast on that. But if you have questions about how to prepare or what this process is going to look like, it is daunting as a parent to go through it for the first time. I've been in education for almost 30 years, and this has been a challenging one. But you've got a great partners here, and take advantage of them.
Yeah, we've got such a great staff. I just am so pleased and proud of our staff of 5 counselors and our dedicated office assistant. So.
Yeah, it is. It's not. That's not the norm at every high school that is out there. It's actually pretty rare. So when's your first touch point with students?
Sure. So we have in the past few years been hosting an evening program for middle school parents and students. Some students have attended that, so that was grades 6 through 8. We actually went over to Parker and did it on the middle school campus. That happens in the spring. And then once the students are in upper school, we meet with 9th graders in their individual advisory groups. One of the college counselors will go into each of the advisory groups. Just sort of basic introduction to our office, what we do, what the students can expect of their path towards the college process throughout upper school. We do that twice a year, once in the fall, once in the spring. For sophomores, we actually make college counseling assignments in the fall of sophomore year. We're very intentional that we're not doing a lot of specific individual meetings with sophomores, but we want them to know that this is their person that they can turn to, either the students or the parents. And really the ownership is kind of on the families and the students at that point. If they have specific questions, they can reach out to their individual person. And then we have various group meetings. It really starts in earnest individually with juniors. As I said, after Thanksgiving, this is when we're starting to meet with our juniors individually. But what's great is I just had 2 meetings already this morning, both students who I knew because I was assigned to them last year. So it wasn't like we were starting from scratch.
Right.
You know, yes, it was our initial meeting, but I already knew some things about them. They felt a little bit more comfortable with me, hopefully, and we were able to have some great conversations and sort of start that true search process.
That's awesome. And I really do appreciate your whole team and how available you are. I mean, there's no one perfect pathway
Correct.
that applies to every kid. And I think that there are places that do try to just sort of conform students into a pathway. And I really appreciate that you guys take the time. I know there's a lot of mental energy and a lot of emotional energy. You do become very attached to these students.
You do.
But that also makes it special. And that's why it's so fun. Alumni that are out there, come back and see us because we actually really do love to see how you're doing and hear about your exploits.
Right. Yeah, that's some of the best parts of our job is watching students when they get decisions that they're really excited about, and then when they make their final college choice, and then particularly when they come back and let us know that they're happy and thriving. That's exciting.
Again, life is a journey, and it's not something that
Correct.
just begins on one date and ends on another date. I mean, literally, we are this giant family that continues to coexist over generations. So thank you to your team, and thanks to everybody out there for all that you do.